Hi. We're live. We're going to play a new game today. Of the Devil. Jane is going to be joining us in a shortly. Soon as set up. We're starting a little slowly today. Because my brain is not always on point. Yeah. We're playing a game called Of the Devil, which is something that Jane has recommended to me vocally. So I'm very much looking forward to that. As soon as she gets back, we'll start. She said she might want to be on camera today, so. Show you that. To the Wah. 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 Wah.
Okay, let me just get my camera set up. There we
Wah.
go.
There's the Jane.
Hi, it's the me.
It's the Jane. Alright.
Can you stream the game to me as well? So
No.
I can.
There.
Thank you.
Alright, let's get into this. See
All right,
how.
this is a work of fiction of the devil.
The. God, I envy that outfit.
Yeah.
Case. Episode 0.
Remember to give me time to read. Rain sizzles off the neon above me.
Wait, is this me? Is this the main character?
This is the main character.
Then I would like to read my parts. That's cool.
Okay.
Rain sizzles off neon above me. Summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street. Slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove it. No escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. If I'm not careful. This client of mine's gonna die in jail. Morgan!
This was the character I wanted to voice.
Oh, this is the main. You wanted to voice the main character?
Yes.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen.
Which would probably be LED.
There's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour.
Question. Is this, is she a defense attorney, like an actual defense attorney? As in, like, we only have the evidence through discovery that we're presented with? Or is she an ace attorney defense attorney, where we have to do the police's job?
In this specific case, we are an actual defense attorney.
Sweet.
And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well...
Hello, baby. I know, mother's home. It's very confusing for all of us. Katie just came home and the cats are like, what, is it food time? What's happening?
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not there's much else I can do until... Oh!
Baby. Baby. Baby.
My phone.
Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You are expected at the 254th Precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. Okay, what time? What
I'll
time?
Try.
But you haven't given us a time. 15 minutes early from what? 15
She's
minutes
literally
early from...
standing outside. Looks like the paperwork came through, though. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy.
Remember, kids, if you find yourself in an interrogation room, ask for a lawyer, and then assert that you will only speak in the presence of an attorney, and then go the fuck to sleep for a bit. And whatever
the
you
devil.
do, shut the fuck up. Sorry, go on. Of the Devil,
Of
episode
the
0.
devil. And he shall appear. I'd say keep the tutorials on.
Turn them
for
on.
This first one.
Precinct. This is you.
Precinct 254.
Oh, that's fucking helpful.
It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party.
Hologram looks like someone's smashed.
I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever, if I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Auto vents with A key, use mouse to look around for it, or you can press space to find points of interest automatically so you don't have to do a pixel hunt.
That's nice. Alright, good.
An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic.
Homicide?
Homicide.
That's not what you said.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby.
Yeah, that's kind of wild, honestly.
Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that set must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them.
I'm sorry, don't look at me with that tone of voice. I just had to uncross my legs because they were falling asleep. You may now continue to lie down on my thighs.
Oh, Maddie. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa.
Why are
You
you
probably
crispy
know
today?
the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still beautifully scrolling through its notifications.
Yeah, please use our universal contact number at string not found.
Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons, too.
Child.
1 year of Silver Plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. Can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles.
Except there's a hard right angle over there, but that one has been curved in, which is an interesting design choice.
The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago, they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness.
Doesn't it just?
A data pad. I'll bite. You can read this one. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way.
Environment. Okay, cool. Wait. Oh, you have to get a good takeaway from it.
You have to have actually like read the key points.
Declaring
To
the
answer the
subway
question properly.
tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced that all plans to drain and repair the system are being suspended indefinitely. Okay. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key toll fixtures surgeries. Where 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineer efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system. Moves together trams, highways and walkways, skyscrapers into a canopy high above the city streets. Ballsy of them. Up to you.
Policy is them putting the paywall there. Oh, you needed to scroll down.
Oh, really?
Basically, besides the gist of it, the takeaway is that they're going to be focusing on the canopy. With the increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy, now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. Not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chunked the waters. Alright. Taking all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in.
Okay.
Booted up fine. So far, so good.
Good morning.
Morgan, here for the public defender contract.
Could you please provide your name and... Great, please stand still for a moment.
I wouldn't call Intake Hollows charming. More like harmless.
You're gonna have to talk a little louder. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Simon and Exusserus. Great name, by the way. Yeah, I didn't read the whole article because I did a dumb.
But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth?
so far so good, was it?
Yeah, my card.
I just say, why don't you just scan my ID card?
Great. Now, could you confirm your date of birth for me?
Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card and my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday is. So if you look at the top, yeah, there's profiles.
Boxing Day.
Yep.
AB negative. Jesus, I hope she won't need a blood transfusion anytime. That's awful.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's a reading comprehension test disguised as a compelling visual novel. Alright, let's have a look at this properly. So the reactions to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran, decades since they last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope of them ever making a comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement, with most commenters and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigation into Councilwoman's long campaign finance irregularities. As one of the Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found itself at odds with the small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore, an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky, going into this week with the subways now officially no longer an option. Oh, looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week, but with the subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. Not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication and possibly even a rallying cry. Already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad, tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with their radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods. May use the flooded subway tunnels, but momentum stalled when their first prototype of the city came in at a disappointing 3,359% over budget. That's absolutely exactly what would happen in Smooth Brain Tech CEO.
Yep.
Although one council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical in the extreme, in light of this latest announcement, Subterra has proudly declared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels. Why am I yawning? It's subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Well, generally they just ignore the aesthetical concern. Generally they ignore the financial concerns first until it doesn't work, then the aesthetical concerns until they can find something practical, which ends up costing more money and would have just been easier if they done that in the first place. Historically, most scientists have contributed to this increase in sea level to climate change, though there are dissenting voices. Water rises and falls all the time for reasons we do not fully understand. Are we too? It appears you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account and information or to continue reading the stories that matter. That's...
No, this is just.
I'm just looking at it quick.
Trivia.
Yep. That's neat.
Yeah.
Conductive resin. Oh, sweet! The Waterson illusions. Wait, no, Waterson illusions are a thing, or are they not called Waterson illusions?
I do not know.
I forget what it's called. His version doesn't shout if you look at it wrong, the publisher doesn't get access to it, yeah. Because it's like... if you project something onto glass, or like layers of glass, you can make it look 3D and it's actually quite cool. But it looks wrong if you go more than 180 degrees off.
We're sorry to see that you've installed a circumstance device to disable and highlight our recommended premium channel links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized second impacts our ability to serve you best, most relevant information possible. Consider disabling your subroutine.
Yeah.
Serve you a more tailored browsing experience.
Disable your ad blocker, loser. Yeah. So that we
yeah,
can.
that tells us something about Morgan.
Yeah.
December 26th.
Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to Counseling Quarter 3 Charlie.
Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room?
Cyberpunk Neo-Noir Future Corpo still waiting. Please disable your ad blocker. Woo. Yeah. I want to sell you more shit you can't afford or want. The vocabulary is better updated, better reflects state standards.
Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes the person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection dully warped against gunmetal walls.
Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Oh, sweet.
Yeah, basically, the more you find out, the more you learn, the more health you get, basically, represented by your chips.
Why the disrepair?
I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty?
She's not gonna fucking know. The facility is currently undergoing renovations.
Since when? The 60s?
It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. That's funny.
They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they?
I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered.
I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack?
Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work.
Well, that's all that matters, right?
What are you?
What are you?
I'm a smart user interface proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I can send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages?
No, sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you.
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to your right.
Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you could go on break if you like.
Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor.
And what were you doing before I walked in?
Pissing. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office.
Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. That's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway.
The cave opens. Oh, it's the name of the music. Ads. Huh. Huh.
Yeah. Don't look up AI.
Hmm. That's gone bad or something.
A voice. No voices coming from down the hall.
Heard yours? Probably.
Thank God I stopped for directions. The building this empty, the desk code just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy.
Appreciate you and about me. God forbid I try to be serious.
While the other rings with youthful indignation.
Not like our job's important or anything.
Definitely calm. this precinct at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex.
Why else did you bother to print all that out? On document or 100 looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I was gonna say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? Oh,
No red carpet tonight, officers?
sorry about that, ma'am.
I like the question mark.
We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably fast at the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper. Definitely the bad cop. You're the lawyer?
I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you.
I don't like this guy's face. This guy's face looks like it's melted. Looks like he stood too close to a grill.
Oh dear.
Same here, Counselor. Wasim London. The ball of sunshine here is my... Oh, Qasim London. The ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Ball of sunshine?
She certainly is.
Ha! Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chat between the department's been hectic all night.
It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette.
Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80?
She can't be more than a few years younger than me.
We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. Looks like tonight we're also your humble guys, the illustrious homicide department. Apologize in advance for any cobwebs.
Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though.
When she was a kid, she was the kid who kept asking if you had games on your phone.
Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene.
No, not nearly that timey. Reyes being so much shorter than the other two only adds to her vibe. Small dog energy.
Yeah. Grabbing water real quick.
Sure.
Keep reading.
Uniforms respond to the emergency calls in a few minutes. Jane wants to read these bits, so I'm going to wait for her to get back. God forbid I read the main character of my own playthrough! Humph!
Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion.
Look around, you think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. Only tapped after circumstance at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Ah, ongoing investigation.
Not very subtle, is she? I may as well bite at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity?
Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Consider this little professional courtesy a fair warning, yeah. That's the heartbreak killer in that room. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help bastard dead to rights. If you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. If you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on some other night owl and go back to bed.
I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer?
They cover utilities at the rock you live under. They cover utilities at the rock you live under.
Is there a problem?
That's such a good line.
Mm-hmm.
You're seriously not familiar with HK?
Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks, their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand.
Morgan walking in here and immediately deciding to lie to the cops. Peak lawyer, absolutely.
But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart.
Let that be a lesson to all of you. Shut up, be dumb, you don't know anything, you barely remember your own name. When the lawyer gets there, then you can be clever.
I take it he's a repeat offender?
Was it the killer part that tipped you off? As for Lee's heard about his MO, media's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart, boy left to die where it falls.
Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality.
What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun. Without even needing to reload.
Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it?
In the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. Shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster. Real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise.
I see.
Sounds robotic.
You always make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that...
No, it is not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madame.
Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky. I guess they're all firing blanks.
Morgan is such a brat. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades. They don't commit murder.
Right.
Evil like Heartbreak is all organic.
That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders.
Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5.
Pardon?
You're still not getting it. HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. Caught the son of a bitch red-handed.
So you're convinced that my client is this Heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation, with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up?
I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, then he didn't shoot her, did she? Did they? Them didn't shoot. What? Her? You're up.
Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling.
Is that lawyer talk for open and shut?
But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders?
So then the discovery files and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone, we'll turn over everything you need.
I'll bet. Thanks for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you some questions while I've got you here?
What kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives?
This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant.
Well, it's not an interrogation, it's deposition, actually. Please move into this room with a microphone. Come on, sunshine. Although we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your clients do an interrogation all night for all I care.
Terra, you mean the counseling quarters?
We're at your disposal, counselor. These crunchy ass noises.
Yeah. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk.
This sounds like, even the sound effects, it sounds like a main menu from a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Complaining about the euphemism, immediately turning around to correct Reyes. Look, yeah, needling cops is always fine.
Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack? Or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe.
Menu, sound, picture, new game, continue.
You can also check profiles.
And
you should have some for detectives now. Yeah. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a statement.
This is a filing system. He knows where it all is. It's the organic filing system. The good shit floats to the top.
Paper documents scattered about lazily, alongside actual photographs.
I had figured that out, Cyber. Thank you so much. That came out way more sarcastic than I meant it. Thank you very much. I did actually figure that out. Still sounded sarcastic. I didn't mean it sarcastically. You're up.
Oh, either he's really old-fashioned, or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like a parrot. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper. Give him that.
There's Noble Androids to more Welcome. Bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales, the Animate 16 Noble Electronics stock was a stunning 3% this week to a new record high. Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors. Increased profit margins left Noble shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical when at their now infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced the 16th line of the first generation Androids to feature over 50% organic components. So-called warm androids, which at the same time only saw demand the health, senior and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, bruises, scratches, bruises and the like. While some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused minds featured that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors, in order to cater to civilian consumers, users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as also been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubts were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records, with no signs of slowing down, and many industry analysts predict these once rare organic androids will completely replace their more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line's success, and indeed, the success of Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to the remarkably lifelike, personable charm of their products, and by all accounts that charm can be attributed to the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Assure. Lead programmer is the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy Dees on stage at their latest Noble Industry Weekend. It's because of his Turing solution. Turing solution that every Noble product from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians are so beloved and trusted by our customers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Asher himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been a recluse, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years, and we really believe he's still, "Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help you keep reading?" Please tell me the Turing solution is not 3 laws.
It's not.
Okay. I'm like, what a great idea it is to name your Android personal safety system or like Android intelligence system after the author that spent all of his time and most of his life warning about artificial intelligence being too clever. The fucking Tech Bros creating the fucking Torment Nexus again.
Well, they've already talked about androids being in the military, which would automatically discount the classic 3 laws.
Well, yeah, kinda.
They will bring this up. He's in the news again. It's no wonder it can't spit without it landing on a piece of Noble-Tech these days.
That's unhygienic.
Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to war androids, though. For government use, they're just... For government use, frailty is always more of a component than expense.
Yeah.
It's the state. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing threat.
I just had a mental flashback to this Turing solution is the Sonic Green type meal replacement made with cloned flesh for Alan Turing. Gross. Yeah, so I just had a mental flashback to Transmetropolitan's police with their big red shields that say "Submit Now" on them.
Yeah. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, it's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen.
Disagree, but I'm not giving our current administration any ideas.
You press spacebar to loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. Note the budget for making the office not look like shit. I expected to find a lot of belts tying in at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this big buttons. They've got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, what with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the public.
I think I mixed up Alan Turing and someone else. Hold on, I want to correct myself here.
Turing versus Asimov?
Asimov, that's it.
Yeah, Asimov had the 3 laws. The Turing problem is basically the idea that you can't make a computer that you basically building a test that's supposed to determine whether or not someone you're conversing with is artificial.
Shit, I missed a meeting today.
Oh?
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. It's like an hour ago.
Do you need to go deal with that, or...?
No. It's fine, I'm just gonna reply.
Tell them you were sick.
I had a minor emergency I had to deal with. Alright. You're up. If you haven't read this already.
I did read it.
Okay.
But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. The dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent to Lean.
Send files on case to Kilo Lima 433511. See to confirm. This is stupid.
Alright.
Fuck off! I project from my phone.
So this is how they handle investigation. And you asked about discovery.
Yep. Well, this is... Okay, 27 degrees. Time is...
Alright, let's see what the police have and what they think is important.
Okay, well, check first thing. 27 degrees. I'm assuming that's Celsius and not Fahrenheit.
Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. And yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. The murder weapon, a revolver, found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers mean the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene text practically disassembled from that outfit. All they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. It was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement.
I mean, not so much prejudicial. It's definitely circumstantial evidence, but like, all evidence is circumstantial, really. So that's pretty good circumstantial evidence.
Like you can see why they're so confident.
Yeah. Like, when, you know, like, it's like, oh yeah, there was a, you know, there were fingerprints on a gun nearby a dead body, and the fingerprints match the client's. All of that is circumstantial evidence because none of it is, like, definitely confirmed, and it is only corroborated by itself. But
Damn, yeah.
yeah, like, because you can't make all evidence corroborated by all other evidence. Sometimes you have to deal with circumstantial like that. So yeah.
The victim's body.
Or, you know, at least where it should be. Why do they look like a fucking Teletubby?
It's basically the implication is she's reviewing further details. Like by collecting it.
No, say, why does the body outline look like a Teletubby?
To make so they don't have to put content warning dead body on it.
I guess.
I don't know. Ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta.
Okay, straight in the heart. Not sure what class 4 blood loss means. Like, any...
All the blood.
Yeah, I guess, like, all the blood.
He shot out all my blood!
Yeah. Single gunshot wound to the heart, improved death was instantaneous. About 2 minutes. You're not dead till you think he meets dead.
Shock could have done it.
Also hydrostatic pressure, actually, because if you get hit in the heart, that applies a lot of hydrostatic pressure to the to the aorta, which could have ruptured a bunch of stuff in the brain. So yeah.
Yeah. No injuries anywhere else. No blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensics, and all that other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. I definitely recommend pressing spacebar to search out stuff you otherwise.
Once I've looked at everything I can see.
Yeah. Stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here.
Well, that...
It was hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry only hurt my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged. lounge chair that got thrown. And
Hold on a fucking second. How did that happen?
whatever that is. How did what happen?
No signs of a struggle. Single gunshot wound to the heart. Killer was standing in the doorway. Body is there. So how the fuck did a chair get tossed?
You're asking the right questions.
Yeah, like...
Unidentified ceramic debris. Flag is irrelevant. That's their technical assessment. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Press spacebar.
What the hell is
How
that?
was something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and... Triprexor. A synthetic
Triprexazine.
Glucocorticoid medication.
1 second. Just gonna look up the word glucocorticoid. Steroidal hormones for anti-inflammatory immunosuppressive effects. So usually for autoimmune diseases and cancer.
Well, I guess we'll learn more if it
Yep.
becomes relevant. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a leap of logic, but I'm gonna trust the game giving me the information. Because, like, they could just have cancer. Like, that would also explain the NSAIDs.
The autopsy said her talk screen was clear, but it's not like it matters.
I mean, a talk screen wouldn't look for medications.
She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city, and it still wouldn't.
Yeah! A block of cheese protects you from death by any source, they say, but not a bullet. It doesn't matter, yeah, it doesn't matter how much cardio you do if you get hit by a big red bus.
It's odd, but ultimately, everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker's everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, or crumbs. Crumbs are cookies, basically. Like digital cookies.
Okay.
Nothing that points towards anyone except my client.
Well, why is the chair over there?
Well, I've done more with less before.
This is what irritates me in detective games, where like you can make a pretty good leap of logic that you're you could do, you know,
follow
better
the,
visualizing and leap of logic than the actual player character can.
But not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get start.
I mean, the fact that there was clearly a struggle in the apartment before we got there is enough to spread reasonable doubt on my client being the
Well,
heartbreak killer.
Notably, the thing you noticed, there were mirror shards on the body, which means that the mirror was smashed after the person was shot.
So my imagination on that one was that they got shot. They've the bullet hit the mirror. Hard. Well, hang on. If it was a maybe if it was a through and through injury, it could have hit the mirror. Like at that range, it might have hit the mirror hard enough to like knock it off its arm if it was like tightly to it. But then the body hits the ground, the mirror hits the ground, and they get sprayed with glass. But like.
Well,
Yeah,
let's keep
there's
going.
something about that doesn't sit right with me. Like, how could a bullet of that caliber, even at that distance, knock it off its mooring? But here we are, unless he like fell backwards into it.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Who the hell's messaging me at this time? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Brat! What couldn't wait till morning?
Good news, of course. Got a job for you.
That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole.
Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't have with a keyboard and a phishing scheme. I need Uchusu, my gym teacher.
Not that kind of lawyer, sorry.
Hey, at least let me finish.
What did they do?
Made me run laps.
Not illegal.
Let me finish! They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache.
Set.
Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit.
Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time.
What's with the blow off?
Nice phrasing.
Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard.
Literally a moppet. Is that your mugshot?
I wasn't not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction.
Glad you found a use case.
I'd do that thing. I'd do that. I'd do that.
But I'm working right now, so...
Everything cool?
Homicide.
Oh, cringe. Well, kind of homicide. Is it Habakkuk?
Heartbreak killer.
Yeah, I know what that means. Those are kind of morbid thing. Yeah, it's zero.
If you take a line, go for it. I want to see how you read it.
Another kind of morbid things your kids your age talk about. Like, it would just be my normal speaking voice.
Yeah, sorry.
So, go for it.
Is that the kind of morbid thing you kids your age talk about?
Teens my age.
Oh,
Hey, yeah,
so
we
this
can
isn't
read.
good.
Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines, old-fashioned murder like Cardi B is like quaint.
It's not heartbreak.
Then why do you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You're taking up lost cause probe nose work?
It's pro bono.
That was all correct.
You know they give lit homework for a reason, right?
This is borderline concern nagging. Maybe we really are bleeding heart. Or just a sucker.
I'm not a sucker.
Nice phrasing, lol.
You should go to bed, Fred.
Tomorrow's Sunday, I can stay up if I want.
Tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow's Sunday because today is Saturday.
What's with the Carpe Diem shit?
It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You've got school in like 3 hours.
On a Saturday?
Yep.
Shit!
Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure.
Important text messages, I take it.
Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you won't mind filling me in on a few details. By the way, you can help a note that you're light on staff.
It's 3 in the morning. We're expecting a parade.
I thought there'd be at least a few androids around.
How many androids in any police station this week? No other brass has renegotiated contracts.
Contracts with Noble?
I guess.
Hardly, they're the biggest.
Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. It's been all day in Sin City without leaving their office's shadow.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here.
Save some money on shipping at least. These talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks on Noble As by the end of the month.
Even with Noble pushing those warm androids?
Warm. Ugh. So-called the adult line. I'd see him in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. One more cold, no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Yet? Really? That'll happen?
Yeah.
Sorry. We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Doesn't seem that big a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives. What pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us.
With your warm personality? I can't imagine.
Cop knocks on your door, starts asking you questions, you're going to be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal, and a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're going to start posting shit that'll get you put on a list. Oh, we certainly don't want that. Flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get our facts from machines. A few more years might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The union would... The police union wouldn't let that happen.
She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore.
Details.
So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with?
Your client, Carlos Becker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Using his
middle name already? They really do think he's a serial killer.
Charged being first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn.
First degree? That's...
increasingly rare.
to say the least.
I'm gonna let this conversation play out, but right now I have questions.
Well, first degree is with malice aforethought, and third degree is, you know... third degree murder is similar to manslaughter, but,
Yeah, third degree is third degree is like negligence. Second degree is a crime of passion, I guess. But well, hold on, no. Well, I am thinking in the way that like British law works, which is that like, you know, actus and mens, the act being the crime and mens being the thought, is that like, if you decide in the moment to kill someone, that is still malice aforethought. If you hit someone hard enough to kill them, but didn't intend to kill them, you just wanted to fucking hurt them, that's manslaughter in the UK. Second degree.
well, in this case, our client is being accused of shooting his girlfriend through the heart, so...
That's definitely first degree. But
yeah.
I'm just like... Like, when you're saying things like crimes of passion, well, a crime of passion is still a first degree murder.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's because you're still murdering somebody. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
God damn, need more cameras than people. That'd be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder.
Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him?
5 times. 5 times, and that makes him insane. It's gonna go with extraordinary.
Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nutjobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead.
Based on what evidence?
So what makes you think this was premeditated?
I've heard he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up.
A warm-up?
5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. I know what digital autopsy is, we do them in the real world now. Nothing.
So the serial killer chose his victims at random if they have nothing in common.
Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than they all look like cousins. Physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims, young women, brown hair and eyes, but the same height, comparable weight.
Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be...
A coincidence? You really believe that you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets? HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You're gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance?
A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint.
I mean, multiple data points does not always conclusion make, but I see your point. That whole thing with circumstantial evidence again.
Yeah. So you think what, exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first?
If the shoe fits,
If the shoe fits.
then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. This feels like spurious logic to me. This is an everyone knows. This is a little bit of fallacious logic. Not even on the know for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Okay, cool. So you picked point A out of your ass, and then decided to draw a conclusion to point B with it. That's known as Texas sharpshooting. You don't get to do that. So far gone, you can't tell the difference anymore.
It's not the worst.
Yes, it is! Yes, it is! It's a bullshit, insane theory! It is such a crap theory!
Well, the worst theory would be like that baby shot the girl.
It's like
a baby in her building. It doesn't fit.
Yeah, like it's a bad theory because it doesn't fit the evidence you have in front of you, detective.
They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart.
I mean, I disagree, but alright.
Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile, if you ask me.
Sorry, what was that?
I saw the time of death was 9 PM on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline on the rest of the night's events?
Can't just imagine what comes out of his mouth. Managed thanks to less biased sources. Pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from statements.
So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work.
I mean, detectives should be doing real police work. In fact, police should be doing real police work like the detectiving rather than the hitting with batons, but here we are. Suspect and his girlfriend were arguing now with one another starting around 8 PM. Did I tell you I wanted to be a police officer at one point?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a detective. I wanted to do shit like this.
Yeah.
But, like, it's impossible. It became impossible to join the police force without joining the police force. It was very clear about that part. You wanted to help people, then you found out that isn't the actual job, exactly. You couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. Brought together from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Much turned over, glass shattered. Things go quiet sometime before 9 PM. Then there's a gunshot. Scrubs are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. We had from enough consensus to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right, emergency services got a burst of calls on the block shortly after 9 PM. No one else seemed to recognize the sound for what it was. Silence to follow is pretty universally alarming. Officers arrive on the street at 9:08 PM, establish a perimeter, enter the front door at 9:10 PM. They find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood, and at which point they move to secure the scene and suspect.
Sorry, did you say his hand, singular?
Client's modded, cybernetic right on.
How modded are we talking right about here?
Listed with a HAL 85 Hibbolus industrial grade, looks like. He's spec for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 kilopascals, which means a minimum grip strength of... Well, basically, he can crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Considering a career change.
No, it's not that. It's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on it each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion.
Yeah, a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable. I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? Getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. Can't work without it, money got tight.
The arguing?
Yeah.
When did he put his arm in for repairs?
8 days before HK's first victim was killed.
Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence.
Your client was arrested on the scene after preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. And no one else's.
A revolver? What kind?
The old kind. The real old kind. Possibly a Carver M54. 6-chambered. 10 millimeter? That's a cartoonish bullet for a revolver.
Calver? How retro.
On the other, we're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin. No tags.
No tags? How's that? Just how old are we talking here?
24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safeties coded to own biometrics. Past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous.
So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes.
I actually think he'd gotten away with this 5 other times. Tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. Even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in.
So then, M54, that's...
Model year 2054. 30-year-old gun.
30? Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it?
In some ways, sure. Retagging firearms are rare. Less than 1,000 left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets.
The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too.
Novelty his weapons kept us in the dark so far. We have our hands on it, it's gonna put them away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. Protocols they found the texture to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets the gun your client was found with. Ooh, that's pretty definitive. One thing that is suspicious to me though.
Yeah?
The only fingerprints they found on the gun were the client's.
Mm-hmm.
So what, he like just slid it out of its original Cosmoline packaging and just like no one else handled it at any other point?
Possibly.
How long has he had this gun?
I will be right back.
Sure. Go hug her wife. Yeah, ballistics fingerprinting is pretty cut and dry. But like... usually, you find more than one set of fingerprints on a gun, is all I'm saying. It's kind of weird that, like, it would just be, like, that dude's one set of fingerprints.
Yeah, like, this is certainly... This gun was used to fire those 6 bullets that killed 6 people. Like,
Yeah.
And this man's fingerprints were found on the gun.
Yeah, it's circumstantial? It's still circumstantial, but I can't, like, that defense is beginning to run pretty fucking thin.
Rifling marks.
Those firing guns that are older marked by the barrel's shape.
So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks...
No, they're all fired by the same gun. Not as plug and play as tags are, it's equally precise science, I assure you. That's not damning enough. The spent cases of the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber.
Without even needing to reload.
However, your client was found with is the gun HK used to still kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that.
An untagged gun. Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest.
Only 1,000 pre-tagged guns left. Feels unbelievable depending on what country this is supposed to be. Yeah.
This is ostensibly Kentucky.
Yeah. 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 Untagged liquor bottles I could understand in Kentucky, but untagged firearms?
Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend. And then he retrieved this weapon and shot her.
Yeah, pretty much.
How did he look when the officers found him?
Guilty.
How was his affect?
Quiet, detached. Stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner.
That reaction may have lost him some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve.
Yeah, really?
Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story.
Yeah, Top 11 Theories on Who Hurt HK was a real weighty read. Not just journalists though, all kinds have been emboldened. Tricks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks.
Can you blame them though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with.
We know what he's gotten away with.
Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go wrong. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs.
But you're gonna spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy.
No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along...
Point.
London's trying to look like you can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged. And that makes them predictable.
Yeah, well... There's nothing standard about HK. Department SOP still indicates that we start the media for case details. That way when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but not like there's much information for us to leak in the first bloody place.
And why's that?
Because none of the shootings were caught in the opt-in crime surveillance system. Opt-in crime surveillance system?
Optics. How is that even possible? I know there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once?
You'd think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did. I understand your concern, man, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. Hi, baby. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes. It acts as a deterrent.
One would hope so. Fat chance deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions.
Like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. All kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. End result, there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict.
I see.
This window's opportunity is small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning.
They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city?
HK has only ever struck at times locations where optics will be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence.
Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed?
Yeah, there was a blackout around 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. Included the area surrounding the victim's apartment.
Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match?
But no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes.
No footage and no forensics.
No motives, tampering, or witnesses. But like hunting a damn ghost, we didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now.
Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue.
Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dressed up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. The only reason we ever caught him tonight was because he finished what he'd set out to do all along.
So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight?
Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. Questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to a 1 or 2 unlisted at some point. Came of it. Talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, and never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with.
In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think?
Only our job to catch the boss. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. So we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt.
And why is that?
He found a handwritten confession at his desk.
Well, that's, unexpected.
Actually, that makes it a little easier to defend him.
Yeah?
Yeah, because somebody careful enough not to be caught this long probably has enough ability to coerce someone else into writing a fake confession.
I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession. Has it been verified?
Yeah. Have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Well, the note's covered in his fingerprints. Yeah, in his handwriting, sure. Not in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading.
I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself.
Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not... Okay, spelling out scene. Want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad, but I'm not in control. I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Was I enough? I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That's extremely vague.
Yeah.
That
This could be an apology for literally anything.
this could be an apology for literally anything.
It reads almost like 6 or 7 different apologies.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to ask him about that.
It doesn't say, I am the Heartbreak Killer. I shot 6 people with a gun.
That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact.
Spin on that.
No need.
It's confession.
Not the confession that he signed, though, is it?
Why that? Why that point? Not yet.
and not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation.
Most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. You're both lucky.
Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he?
Look, Counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to a man being responsible for 6 murders. You have evidence.
Yeah.
It's not weak evidence, I'll give you that, but it's also not like completely cut and dry.
Yeah. It's not like we have him on camera pulling the trigger.
Yeah, you have a lot of circumstantial evidence, which I grant you is very good circumstantial evidence, but you have a gun.
Alright.
And his girlfriend looks a bit like the person that was killed by your Heartbreak Killer.
Hi, baby.
2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. That's for your safety as well.
It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger.
He's killed 6 women? Yeah, with a gun.
None of them were redheads.
Uh.
Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind.
Mike's on or off is your call, Counselor. We're watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on.
That worried about me? How chivalrous.
Yeah, my arm is practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I suggest you help him sign that confession.
Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective.
I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. Even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. I've seen the virtual work release program in person, it's...
being challenged before the Supreme Court.
yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from... well, that's probably a win for your client, right?
Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the Heartbreak Killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life.
Press. AM, June 5th, 2086.
Yeah.
Okay, so my hand.
It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos Flash, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take a minute.
What are you... Look, I already told you people, I didn't...
I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you.
Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there and here, kept repeating it the whole ride over. Said they were going to help me, they knew this was all a mistake. And they said that I killed... acting like they're on my side, they thought I could have... that I...
It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions.
Police already...
Questioned you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client.
You want to know?
Definitely start with about you. Let's start simple. Something mundane, grounded, rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. What line of work are you in?
City engineering. Or was. Should be.
As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work.
My arm right there got slotted for the job. And,
Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Ray said he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment. But based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty... It was utilitarian. That was
Yeah.
how it was described, even. Utilitarian, yeah. He doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod.
really?
Really. I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, the whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate.
That sucks.
I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad that he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I was thinking about start, oh, it's not small, a hand or an eye, test the water. I thought about lopping my whole damn arm off. The recruiter was enthusiastic. He said because of the NCDA there was a financial aid and resources. Plus I got shit cans, and I mean every other modder is royally screwed, couldn't even let me keep the tax credit.
The new Citizens with Disability Act was amended, not repealed, but I doubt that he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment.
Worked in tighter spaces, the high vol environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know.
He's speaking freely now. Don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be...
Under a lot of pressure.
You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off.
Damn straight in this crap with Long. Almost got out the case against him was real. Every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced Internal Affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving.
No room for engineering.
Yeah, no patience for screw-ups.
He's trying very hard to not look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos?
That. Rejection issues starting last month. Sleepless nights.
Rejection? Did the therapy not take?
Not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything.
Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars?
What are you thinking? I'm right-handed.
So those cuts on his face are just from shaving.
All this going so long to have really learn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms, just oversensitivity. They said an easy fix.
But the problem got bigger.
How to get that far? Be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and get hurt. Sat down, made an appointment, turned to my arm. Watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line.
Where did you turn it in?
Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't.
It doesn't sound like you're a happy customer.
Hell no. A dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. As long as I'm renting and not owning.
The manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance.
And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive ass stump for a shoulder. Never to work in weeks. Boss was generous enough to say my position might still be there when I got 2 working arms again.
You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself, just in the meantime?
I serve at the pleasure of the state. Got exclusivity contracts with Hindi all locked up white knuckle tight.
Hindi. How Industries? As I recall, he's registered with one of their habit
I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I lose the down payment and my arm. Never work in this city again. This was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone that belongs in deep hot shit.
You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain?
Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill ya. Phantoms come back pretty fast and they don't have anything arm-shaped attached to me.
Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clanks lend out for cases like this?
They gave me his dead weight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's just a very shitty feeling having a part of your own body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible, technically I can slot in and feel on balance again, but fingers don't even bend, the quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking with your arm asleep or dead.
So were you wearing it when...
You were arrested.
Let's be tactful. Were you wearing it when you were arrested?
No, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure I saw the police banging it as evidence, so can't have gone too far.
So Detective Grace was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question, he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other?
Right. Since college. Shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. So I never actually asked her about the real formal way. It sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics, focused her studies on agriculture.
It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense.
Finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate, practically headhunted, you believe that? Practically headhunted. Well, she was. Any company would be lucky to have her, and like, real ass job, paid real ass money too.
So her career was starting to pan out, right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired?
Pedigree? Perigee, Lovejoy's. Say that like the name matters, the whole setup's under Harco's umbrella.
That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. If this is America, that's a fuck ton of corn. That's corn with like, 10 to 12 zeros.
Yeah. Corn!
Yeah, one client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco is about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons, no one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job?
Yeah, they loved having her there.
She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough?
I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. Never got the impression she'd... Look, no one I know could do this to her. There's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her.
It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful.
It was?
Now I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight.
Uh-oh.
Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important.
Alright, Miss...
Morgan,
Try, Morgan.
when you're ready.
We were arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I've been working, have been making money, pulling my weight. I was mad at myself, but more than that I was jealous of her. Jealous of nothing. Jealous of a goddamn money.
Sorry?
How dare you?
The reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m.
Hey, yeah, it must have been when we started. Got into it and I said a lot of things I shouldn't have and said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have and I crossed the line. We both knew it, so I left.
You left?
Yeah, walked out the front door, thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Let me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Plus, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. I was pissing away the time. Diane was...
Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics?
Oh. I stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind.
With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves. Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit?
No, not even a vending machine.
Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate.
Just wanted quiet at the time. I wanted to wallow in it, really. So I've don't have all the details quite right in my head. It's... My exact route would help the cams, probably. Well, what is it? Optics was what? Can that even happen?
There's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi.
This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't...
Carlos. I'm the one person you don't have to try to convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with.
Right.
Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back?
Came back because I heard a noise. Loud noise. Didn't know what it was. Loud and scared me. Came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. At some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. When I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't...
You live on the first floor, right?
Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. Proud of that when we first moved in. Some kind of big deal. The hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize... I never thought she was... Lights were off, the whole room was a mess. We'd been robbed or she'd fallen or... Broken glass, furniture knocked over. She was... I called her name, she didn't move. Checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. I saw it. Gun. So heavy I thought it had to be fake because I wanted it to be real.
Is that why you picked it up?
What, pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it.
Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies, bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie. But it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact, because...
Prince.
Yep. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun.
What? But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just...
Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all.
Even if I said I didn't realize it was a gun.
That explains how his prints got on the gun, but not in a way that would satisfy the police.
I mean, it definitely puts reasonable doubt in the one link they have. Like, that is enough to build a case around. But I would like to have more shit to build a whole case around, but like,
yes,
that is enough for reasonable doubt right there.
Still, if all he did was hold the gun...
stupid. I know what a gun looks like. Seeing it in my own home right in front of...
You were in shock, Carlos. You still are.
Police came in sometime after that. I remember watching what they said. Started moving fast. Seemed like the rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect.
Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight.
Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say we did?
They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume?
What is it?
I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene.
Oh.
It's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so...
Right, it's just that...
It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. And this is why it's a Teletubby.
Yeah, okay, let me see it.
Take your time.
Alright, I think I've got it.
That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place.
Alright.
I'll take notes. You just say whatever comes to mind.
Don't remember exactly where everything was. Mirror was upright, of course. The clock was still on the wall. Chair got knocked over at some point, the bed got tossed, the cushions torn. Urn fell. Other than that, besides, all stands out to me.
I see. Like so? What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up.
It's just a... It's just seemed to notice me making edits to the AR.
Well, I suppose that works too.
You can just do that. Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing is pretty good, considering...
I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos.
Right.
Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk.
Letter? What do you mean?
I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession.
Confession? This is a note to self.
Pardon?
Oh, when we fight, I lose my temper. I say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. Couldn't apologize to her instead of just fighting with her.
Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them?
That's it. Richard Tubbies.
Her what? Her what?
Richard Tubbies. These collectible ceramic character things. It's supposed to be like tactile, using as paperweights or conversation starters.
Conversation starters.
She loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at a flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. I broke them. Yeah, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental armor, I didn't know where I'm swinging it half the time. So my guy just ripped it off and tossed it in my room, that cheap, dusty, worthless...
Okay, let's say he did break her Frigiduckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the heartbreak killings anyway.
I didn't even bother to swoop them up. I felt so...
Alright, Carlos. Thank you for answering my questions. Now I'm going to call the police back in here, and I'm going to get this cleared up for you.
What? That's it?
That's it?
Oh, okay.
Although, before I do that, I do have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak Killer?
Heartbreak? Psycho's trending all month. I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. Haven't been getting out much, but sure everyone's on edge. A guy like that out there shoots people in the heart, right?
The police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend.
I mean, she was shot in the chest. It's just doesn't mean anything, does it?
If he's this slow in the uptake, it's gonna be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory.
I mean, it's pretty easy to squash at this point.
As quickly and definitively as possible.
4 a.m. I didn't realize you could smoke in here.
Technically, I can smoke wherever I want.
Why have you put your cigarette in the coffee?
For a fee.
I guess so.
Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock.
I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this.
No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense, though.
Oh.
Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I've got relevant experience in other areas.
Oh. What areas are those?
You ever gamble, Carlos?
Oh man, never go anywhere near loot boxes. Touch the stuff.
Love that they treat it like fucking cocaine or meth. No, ma'am, I've never gone near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff.
Won't touch the stuff.
I meant more like playing cards.
Oh, well, not that too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck.
Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win.
I can. My face is so fucking readable.
Which makes things pretty fun.
Okay, so what? Do you have a good poker face?
I like to think so.
And are you lucky?
Only when the stakes are high.
In this metaphor, we're playing poker, and the state's the dealer?
If only. No, the state's more like the house.
Like the house always wins.
Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house.
So, what do we do?
Oh, did you read that line?
Yeah, I did. I just read it quietly. So, what do we do?
We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up, and eventually, someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave.
Doesn't sound very triumphant.
The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose.
Excellent. Guess I was more asking, like, what should I say?
Just leave all the talking to me.
That's a strategy. What's up?
You know, there's a saying about gamblers with strategies.
Yeah, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA.
Already? She must be new. District attorneys have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back. Because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here.
Right. What she said. Got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. For my time kind of thing.
I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective.
Counselor, we have your client's written confession.
His written confession, let's start there.
Okay, well, we'll be happy to.
The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table.
Pretty simple, counselor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. Ah, the flop. We found a note at his apartment. There's fingerprints on it. Apologizes for how he hurt them all so bad. How are you planning on spinning that?
Those are the facts. I've been building up my hand all night. And now I've got the weapons to answer anything they tried to throw at me.
Well,
My client did write that note, and it was an apology. But not for murder. He was apologizing for...
okay.
That's correct. He was simply apologizing for this.
The hell is that?
I found myself asking that exact same question.
What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene?
This diagram of the room is created from data you captured, right?
Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data. Yep. What's non-GMO? Not much these days.
Notice anything out of place?
Yeah, the whole room's full of busted bollocks. The scene of a murder.
Full of busted shit, for sure.
Yeah, I've just given her a British dialect, like, we're just gonna have to deal with that.
Yep. But I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room.
The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? The vase that got tossed.
Actually, that's not possible.
They say vase or vase in Texas?
I don't know.
Because that's where I'm putting his accent in. The vase. that got
I think.
tossed.
Oh, if it's X, then say vase.
Vase. Oh,
Because that vase.
wasn't damaged.
It's not possible for that debris to have come from that vase. Because that vase is still pristine.
How is that? How's that possible? Yeah, the garage sale told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I tried and thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? Does it even matter? Vase doesn't have a scratch on it.
Then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over.
Saying the confession was an apology for not vacuuming.
I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of your victim's collection of Fiji Bobs. Fidgetic.
Fidget tubbies.
What he said.
Fidget tubbies!
I like that they basically play what is
Yeah.
obviously like the theme song for it.
Don't just
for
buy one, buy them all!
Collect them all!
Collect
Mr.
them all,
Flat
never
wrote
stop
the victim's
collecting, there's always
ceramic-
more!
ceramic- Mr. Flat broke his victim's ceramic figures by accident.
Sorry, it's a Dread just subbed. Thank you very much. That's a 13-month streak. Yeah, hello, yes, I am real man. Do you want to go skateboards?
Alright. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. And this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology.
Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously.
As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note. And we can all plainly see that there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collector.
Those things.
Simple, right?
The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed. The arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle too. Really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down?
Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that. And
Why is the game audio so loud in this specific moment?
It's the rental.
Ah,
One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the Fickle Buddy ecosystem.
it's fidget tubbies.
Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your techs found ceramic debris on it, yes?
1 second.
Turning down the background volume.
Because, boy, that was so loud I could barely hear you. Okay, cool. Good to know that I can always look at that.
Definitely check Heartbreak's profile real quick.
Okay.
Unknown. Occupation criminal. Likes killing. Dislikes getting caught. Favorite color? Probably red. Zodiac sign? Probably not into astrology. Reward suspended due to influx of false reports.
Student
Luck
debt sizable. Luck poor.
Favorite flower? Poppy. Oh. Enjoys watching product reviews. Oh my god. She's that sort of person.
Oh, pencil sketching. Frequently running late. He likes bangs. That's good.
I mean, he's got some pretty interesting bangs.
I mean, everyone does. The very anime hairstyles here. The bangs are everywhere. The bangs will not stop. Even the dude has bangs.
I'm sure, now that you mention it.
Oh, sorry. Now that you mention it. Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm. While he was killing her. Happy?
Overjoyed, because...
Even a cheap arm's got an operating system that locked the last time it was worn, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm to spot a footnote in the lab report saying the rental hadn't been used since the AM. What do you want, old man? Done pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for your service. You're seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. It's really believe he was that upset over a fidget tubby collection. One that hasn't even been graded.
Setting aside Detective Ray's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, you're correct, they held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over the loss, but so what?
So what?
After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos...
It's right-handed.
Because Carlos is right-handed.
Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason that note looks like a silent wall scribbles
is just because he had to use his left hand to write it.
I had to think better writing than typing. I need to get used to my left anyway. Thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics.
Your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet.
Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, Counselor. You've established your client's remorselessness. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. I found your client at the scene of a crime. Wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood. Right next to a big old goddamn gun. Just so it happened to have his fingerprints on it. I can't stop saying gun like Graham Stark.
Yeah. And here he is, and here's Carlos Flat holding a gun!
Here's Carlos Flat with a gun.
That's right, that coat is...
You're going to claim it's not his. He actually wears an extra small.
Just trying to bait me in their typical low-key fashion. You will occasionally... She must have something. No sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, Detective?
Just curious what it'll be next. You're gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small. That doesn't tell you what the raise is. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, this is a tutorial, so it doesn't give you the option to raise here.
Okay.
Key, Carlos, do you?
Gee? Come on.
G, Carlos, do you?
Gee, no, I don't think so.
I'm done. I'm not gonna make fun of you anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, sure. There's no evil twin you're forgetting to mention.
stay. No, I'm afraid not.
I'm gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime.
To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually. Going there now without hard evidence. Stay.
Can't. Hold on.
Yep.
I can't prove a third party. Let me answer the questions.
Okay. I have no evidence of a third person at this time.
Damn right you don't. Because you don't have evidence of him. Any of it. Here's the day in the Arks. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming.
It was obvious she had something there. I wasn't going to win that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene. Which was not smart,
Hey!
but not illegal either.
And that's all. He had her blood all over his clothes.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way?
I finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at?
It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them for me?
You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Took some bullshit in here anyway. Here I thought the room smelled like... Logan. Dude, my coat's covered in blood, I remember that much. Like, make me look really bad.
Just relax, Carla.
You sure it's impossible?
You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you.
Really?
Really? Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck, or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coax.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
More evidence, not always better.
don't you just love the way Morgan handles this?
Yeah. It's like, it's...
She's doing her best to comfort Carlos, but she's very eyes open
Yeah.
about like how things actually
Yeah.
work.
It's... We already established much earlier that circumstantial evidence can seem very damning.
More often than not, it takes coaxing.
What was it that reminded me of? Right, here it is. One bloodstained jacket, fresh from the lab.
Okay, you should definitely check this evidence.
Okay. No other details of forensic significance found. Yeah, so no powder burns on it. Good news. It's not time for anything. I don't know what you're jonesing at me for. Also, there is bickies in your bowl. I can see them from here. There's plenty. Go eat that.
Okay. Adzie's cats are acting up.
So what's your angle? Your test is actually just hot sauce.
No. That would be silly.
She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey!
Sorry, just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune.
What good fortune?
You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. By a gun that happens to be an old world, pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter.
Is there a gas leak in here? What does that make any sense?
Sense happens to be the key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can.
C, right?
Huh?
C.
No.
We're looking for like powder burns.
No, not powder burns. Because it's what's not there. You are correct. But powder burns could potentially be covered up by blood. However,
Smell of sulfur.
keep in mind they brought up that, like, modern firearms don't use gunpowder, but the murder weapon does.
Right. I feel like my solution is also valid, but if it is actually smell.
Yeah. Do you mind if I catch you on?
Yeah. If I'm about to do something that's blatantly wrong, just be like, but like let me puzzle it out.
Yeah. I'll try to be like.
Otherwise, why am I
think
playing
about-
this at all?
Yeah. Tell me what you smell.
Smell nothing except dried blood.
Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of.
Cigarette. What I've been smelling.
I didn't hear you there.
A cigarette.
Yes,
That's what I've been
the-
smelling.
Yes, Detective London. I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation?
I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket?
If you would.
Let's see. Huh. Oh, gunpowder. What? What about gunpowder?
Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time.
You can't be more than a few years older than me.
But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence.
The hell is she talking about, London? Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. Got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise. They don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue.
You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one, it'll leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days.
So then his coat...
If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it.
Whatever. Just means he washed off after shooting her or he changed his clothes.
That's not impossible, but would be pretty pointless.
Huh?
His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? Just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flat is facing. As soon as possible. They're faltering now, should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them. But that gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings.
Exactly.
So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say... Did she get a message?
Did they actually manage to find it?
Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes.
You're good. Listening to the truth and denials, making the facts work for you. But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting, and right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer.
Crunchy time? One sec. Baby is screaming for crunchy.
What a bit.
Okay, sorry. So I think there was an intercut where she said,
Wanna bet?
Is that so? Wanna
Yeah.
bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something for the scrubbers.
Raise.
No,
What?
this is a stay.
Okay.
But, like, she wouldn't do this if she didn't have something.
This is a cat.
So look-
This is a cat. Jiggle the baby.
So-
Jiggle the baby. This is a cat. Being a brat
So you got...
because it's 2 hours, and a half hours before she gets fed.
Yeah, let her play out her hand first.
Okay. It's 3 hours before you eat, you brat.
Didn't we establish there was an optics blackout during the shooting?
Okay, so raise as if I have evidence that refutes it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or you call their bluff.
Uh-huh.
So you
This-
still get penalized here.
This isn't
But
from
you would've got-
optics.
You would have taken more damage if you'd raised.
Okay.
Because you called their bluff when they actually had a strong hand.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought. Scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means...
Party's over, counselor. Put your eyes on this. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? That's all you've got?
Well. Well.
Hold on. I already know the problem with this.
Yeah.
Oh no, hold on. I was about to say the picture's backwards, but no, it is 9 o'clock, not 3. Left-handed. Not wearing the jacket. And there's another arm there in the picture.
Well, it's kind of a bit blurry. It's hard to tell if they are wearing the jacket, and if they're wearing the jacket, that would obscure that they don't have their right arm. Okay, the quality is lacking, and yet there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are...
Well,
it's a little bit...
blurry. Look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. So at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone, probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. Their phone was on, his camera would be on. So he managed to get this shot through the window.
Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century.
There are tools that could enhance...
Enhance this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. And there's no way in hell you could get this past a judge.
Yeah, you're probably right, we couldn't. Yeah, I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving the police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA that could. Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know that had their left-hand fingerprints all over that gun?
You're referring to my client.
You think? Savage wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight, so he must have shot with his left.
Yes, and we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever.
Forensics will never be perfect, Counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you were going, somehow end up dry. Doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before a judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test.
Carlos is innocent. I know he
No,
is.
get down. You're being a brat now.
But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real. If both are true, then that means that photo doesn't show what it appears to show.
So, at a loss for words?
Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly?
Exactly. Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. We DN'd on the phone's owner and asked them where... Why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells the perp shot from the room's doorway. Front entrance to the apartment faces to the south. It's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. There was a dirty, great bloody mirror in the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
Looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious it was taken across the north window. North. It's you.
From the north. If this is from the north, then why can we clearly see the...
It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got shot must live on the other side of the street. Okay, but like, why is the clock right then? If it's reflected.
Well, because the clock is up and to the left of the mirror. So if the clock is up and to the left of the mirror will show the hallway, which means the camera must have been shot from the west thing. So it's looking at the mirror and the clock.
Oh, I see.
The mirror shows the doorway. The clock will be the right side. Basically, only the like illuminated part of the image needs to be flipped
I see.
to understand what's going on in it.
Really complicated. The neighbor who got the
Make
shot
sense?
must live on the other side of the street. Yeah, I'll look at it again. Hold on. Oh yeah, that is yeah, because the clock was there, next to the mirror. That's the mirror that we're looking at.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. Let me see the crime scene map again here. Yeah, because the clock was like over here, wasn't it?
It doesn't need to be exact. Like, what matters is that this shot couldn't come from the north.
Yeah. North window.
If she's wrong, I should seize on the opportunity to start shooting this side.
So now I can raise.
God, I love the style of this game.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west.
What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? Well, I need to take advantage of it. Hell do you mean this was taken from the west? The officer tells the victim was shot from the doorway. The officer's ARC data tells the precise location of everything in the... Oh, so it's you.
Your officer's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting.
And?
Basically, you hit that plus sign, and you can increase the amount of credit you win for a good argument, or the amount you lose if you don't, if you aren't careful. As long as you consider. It's the witness statement. Mirror was upright, clock was on the wall. Just take one look at the clock in that photo.
The clock? What about it? Clock, huh?
Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high.
Photo was taken right before the shooting, so I'm telling the time of death is wrong. Time of death is correct. What?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer's no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agreed the time of death was 9 p.m.
Right, no mistaking that. So what the hell were you on about?
There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style, and it reads 9 o'clock.
9 p.m. time of the shooting. What's so special about that?
Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads. But, do you remember there being a clock in the room?
What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock.
That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor.
And
The only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall.
yeah.
Like so.
The hell is that supposed to be?
An artistic rendition.
It's very distinct. You had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting. Why don't you just add that to the arcs?
And show you my hand. Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair, detective. Slipped my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is, that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting.
This photo must be looking through the western window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m. Same time as photo was taken of the shooter. You want to claim the clock still on the eastern wall would have been knocked down during the fighting.
You've got your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the It's the glass. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have just spoiled that.
No, that's okay.
Nothing much, really.
I
Only that
figured
they're
it
on
out.
top. Okay. And not under it.
Glass fell on top of the victim's body. That would mean
That she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed.
I mean, I said the same thing when we talked about it earlier.
You would have figured it out.
Yeah, but that's doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trust the room afterwards?
It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes?
Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those texts would have been over in a matter of seconds.
So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom?
This is personal. Things have gotten complicated. Shit happens.
Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened.
So what if the room getting tossed over to afterwards? He still shot her. You have a photo right here.
And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence.
Huh?
Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult, and maybe more importantly to all of us, time-consuming. Next to your photo, I can instead prove it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger, because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos.
Like hell it can't.
The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting, and we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall. Which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west.
Back to this shit, that's impossible. The only hallway in that apartment is from north to south. The only person who printed that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters, he used it to murder 6 innocent people.
You're a very honest person, detective.
Excuse me?
That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at that hallway in that photo.
What?
What we're seeing is...
So you're trying to turn the glass shards again?
Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from?
Yeah, sure, they came from...
From a standing mirror. A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across the room from the western window.
So that would mean... That angle from that viewpoint...
It would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered. Because it just proved that my client couldn't have possibly committed this crime.
Yeah, that's just positive evidence. Mute. Oh, it's because the mics are mute in the room. That's still funny though.
Yeah. Like, it's clearly deliberately shot that way. That should be the end of it. Except, like, it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has got its teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever, the impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes.
It's one word for it.
Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting. And instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you tried to claim it depicted my client. A man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway.
That's... Could have had a backup arm, you could have stolen one. Whoop, I went American there. Not a backup arm, you could have stolen one.
A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time to bear my fangs. That's the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. We'd have to bring it into a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well, any objections, Detective?
God damn it!
That's cool.
This is what I said about this game having style out the ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me. Sorry, you're uncuffing me? The evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I've got to go call the DA. Tell her I made a mistake. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective?
Detective.
Also, it's you. Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah.
That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is its own reward.
Sure. Exactly the same, Counselor. What happens now? What happens now?
I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats. You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact.
Yay? But what am I supposed to do?
The detectives will continue their investigation.
Their investigation to Heartbreak, huh?
Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements.
No, it's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough. Serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore.
People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean.
Can't make sense of it. What am I supposed to do?
Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors.
No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, trying to convince them I didn't. You saved me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to.
No, I mean thank you for not asking.
Hmm?
Not asking if I killed her.
Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all.
Ha! Huh.
The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with a single universing meaning. Vitality at its climax, bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of lowbrow appeal.
Huh?
Bullet number 6 of 6. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash, but cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark here, must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend, back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now.
Hey. Did you hear that?
These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way.
It's kind of weird that, like, even knowing what a gunshot sounds like about 70% of people will run away from it, 30% will run towards it. It's really weird.
Yeah. Probably roused half the neighborhood. I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces, in small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except, there's shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each one of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustration, and try to savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it will be consistent. This was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Ugh. Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? All of the threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting. And all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I'd feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. Then he got rejected one too many times, or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. And now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air is weighty tonight, thick, energized. The heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel in every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin. Like in those short moments just after the shower turns off, and the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I know I've never felt guilty about any of this, and I walk.
So I'm using my left is still...
That's okay, you can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer, and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning.
Okay, where else?
Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gone paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans, depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes, more headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now Heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. You should check profiles, because Heartbreak's been updated. Criminal defense attorney. Almost done. Getting involved with this case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't still smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seems more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously, everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus.
Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. Sure, Diane is grateful too.
Funny. I didn't even know her name. Something the matter?
Oh, sorry, it's just... It's mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died...
Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine that she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground.
Oh, I know, but... I think she must have died angry at me. She must have died hating me.
To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself.
What is it?
Something I noticed in the ARC's data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it.
What is... Did you find that?
That pill organizer was found on the victim. She had it grasped on her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained tribrexazone, prescribed to help mothers with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings and I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. Hubris invites downfall. So why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for Heartbreak. The gun's in custody, there's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... District Attorney Rockland. You're gonna have fun with this one.
So can I try that again? I'm so fried.
By all means.
Counselor Morgan, morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together.
Thank you.
Don't get it. You sleep at night.
Pardon?
You know, white noise, aromatherapy, whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. Set bags on my house dark enough for the dumpsters.
Assistant District Attorney... Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's to the prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court, trying to prove a defendant's guilt. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she is probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and to only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job, and hard for me to read.
Have I a new mattress?
What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma?
Oh, well, actually I'm here for you.
Me?
Your client's the suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case.
Well, then you must have been relieved, finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me.
Oh, why would I be worried about going up against you?
It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives?
Yeah, London, the new girl, Reyes. Reporting to me in preparation for trial.
Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious.
I guess I gave you the rundown. Doing everything they can, but hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little.
It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So Reyes told you they had HK in custody, and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here?
Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. When I heard about a case of a single female victim shot to the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. Not all.
Oh?
I mean, Carlos Flat, serial killer? Some serial killers outside the state for weeks, using his middle
He's not
name.
using his middle name.
Was found with a murder weapon.
Well, I can answer that any number of ways. That may be true, but
Then I glanced at the report.
you glanced at it,
No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes.
right?
Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about. Dominant arm, modded. Documented sensitivity issues. Never could have made the shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention, the too tall for the ballistics entry angles. Way too heavy not to leave imprints.
She got all that from a glance.
I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed out all that the minute you walked in here.
Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic.
Yeah, of course it could have been him.
Hmm?
Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, not such to bottle things up. Didn't match the profile.
Profile?
Yeah, that... Right, so you probably never heard of it.
I know what a goddamn profile is.
Profiles are reconstruction of criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the Who is caught on camera.
Or before they even leave the house.
Well, I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it. Yeah, I'm getting the hang of it.
So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique?
There's the crime contains something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points of passion, rage, lust, they probably knew their victim. Poison and guns, meanwhile, it's just they can't overpower their victims physically. That's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. And a lot of recurring themes in their stories.
The detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you?
Oh, he's diligent. Almost perfect. Unintelligent, painstakingly organized. Enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm.
It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat that's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time.
Lone wolf, educated, but
All her playfully lethal instincts coming to life.
probably overqualified or undervalued.
I'm not thrilled about the fact that in that metaphor I would be the...
Know what I mean?
Definitely!
Considering the marksmanship.
The detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement?
Never in 10 billion years.
Oh,
And social, independent, despises authority. We're like Stalin applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation.
Right, that's exactly how I.
There must be some connection to the police though, maybe secondary or tertiary. These types can't help but insert themselves.
Insert themselves. I do not I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK is not a cop, how did they know about the blackout timing?
Crime statistics analysis, probably.
Pardon?
Take the emergency response times across the city, map them out, look for brief spikes and delays, chart out the dips, and... Sorry. Technical, I know. All the requisite data is publicly available. Now the map, spreadsheet, a calculator. Yeah, anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to.
That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon.
I didn't lose it, he chose to leave it behind. Tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. She's Irish now. I've just decided I'm switching to that.
Okay.
This makes it even more certain these aren't his only kills.
Were there other shootings with the same MO?
No, I found.
Other victims that fit the description?
No, I'm not really focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, those 6 victims all look like each other, but they also look like a lot of people.
That's true.
Hell, kinda look like me.
Do they?
Sure. But you don't see it?
I hadn't thought about it.
Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's the first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know the HQ must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. That's why I think Outbreak's a misnomer.
You've got something catchier in mind.
I just think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. Best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills, guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they're packing. Greatest signatures in the bullets of the gun. It's the perfection.
That's hard to wrap your head around.
I'm saying these 6 murders are just a fluke, a slip-up, but...
A mistake?
Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed.
Are you talking about the crime scene?
I am vacillating between North and Southern Ireland here, so we're just going to have to deal with that.
Yep.
Yeah, probably through the detectives for a loop, right?
Based on what you've said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing.
Ah, the contrary.
I don't follow.
It's the last bullet, the last shot, the other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum.
You make them sound like a child.
Yeah, childish and cowardly. Two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win.
Your profile tell you all that?
That, no. That part's just... like anyone else ever got in trouble mistaking Northern Ireland and the rest of Ireland. I would definitely get in trouble for doing that. Takes one to know one.
So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type.
City with an 8-digit population? So, just, I'm trying to stay south of the border, just for those out there who are keeping score, because otherwise it'd be like, in a city with an 8-digit population, would be the Northern Ireland. With an 8-digit population.
Well, good luck.
I don't need, like, I don't need more information.
I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources.
No, Mark, I just mean more crime scenes.
Oh,
Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch him. Only way my net hours is if they keep piling up bodies.
not a very fair trade, is it?
No, it isn't. Getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil.
Fair enough.
Woof. Okay, that rant was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more, sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder. I think a higher thread count would help.
Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom.
Sorry, that's the adversarial process. No hard feelings, yeah.
No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. I could use a cup of coffee. How about you?
Ah, don't tempt me.
If you fall asleep face first onto the table, I won't even take a picture.
Okay. Just don't expect us to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats.
Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation. And the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different.
I can tell that this artist really has a type. And the type is boobs. And
They wanted
puffy
to make-
lips.
They wanted to make Death Note but better in lesbian.
Yeah.
She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. You can voice orange, I'll take green.
Sure.
Which means you're going to be living with my friend for a while.
Well, how long?
I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it.
You know what? I'm gonna do Terry's voice for this.
My face barely moved.
It may as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that.
This friend of yours, they're trustworthy?
Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on. It'll be fun.
Really?
Really. Educational, too. I think you could stand a lot to learn from someone like Morgan. Thank you all for joining us for episode 0 of The Devil. Oh, that was so much fun.
So
Thank you for letting me play. Thank you for letting me play Morgan.
That's all right. So my patience for playing as a person who just murders people for no good reason, except they're whatever.
Their compulsion.
Yeah. So if we continue playing as Morgan, yeah. You voice this person, right?
You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people.
Personally, I think it's
Personally, I
cool
think
to
it's
bring
cool.
something that flawed into the world. You're a criminal defense attorney and we're at a crime scene. I think I can guess what happens next. I've never stolen anything that wasn't already compromised. Sorry, I've never stolen anything that wasn't already compromised.
Work hard, and the company will have you set for life, and after too.
Can't tell you how many musicians I've screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. It's not a lawyer job thing. You dress like a doorman on the weekend. You dress like a doorman on the weekends too.
Compared to determining faults, determining cause of death is like a breath of fresh air.
The company wheels don't stop spinning for anything.
We can't hope to keep this quiet very long.
So many times more likely than the alternative. That Heartbreak could ever stop themselves from killing. Father said that you owed him.
I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Ooh. Yeah, so if you're not down for like the villain protagonist angle,
Not really. I mean, I didn't enjoy Death Note for the same reason. I was just like, okay, cool. I love this. I love this. It's all edge and no point. I sure hope I have a pizza nearby.
I will say you never roleplay it. In the episodes that have been released so far, you are never like actively controlling Morgan while like she kills someone or anything like that. You are basically just playing her as a defense attorney.
Goody.
I am like enraptured with the story so far. So I'd love to do episode 1 with you eventually, but if you're not down, then
Go on then.
that's totally
Like
fine too.
I'm enjoying voicing the visual novel aspects. I'm also enjoying doing the detective work. So
Hell yeah.
I'm happy to divorce myself from the role since you wanted
Yeah.
to voice it anyway. That makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll
But
let you. Yeah. You can voice Morgan, and then I'll do
yes.
the detective work. Um.
Yeah.
My additional thing would be like we're not gonna play another episode of this until we do a horror game.
Yep. Can we do that on Monday?
We can absolutely do that on Monday. So what horror game would you like to pick? We have a few.
You made a collection,
I did make
right?
a collection, so let's go over that, shall we?
Yeah. Just put it on screen.
I've gotta do some wibbling to get that on screen here. Hold on.
All right.
Okay. Welcome to the Horror for Babies collection, which
Yep.
is kind of rudely named, honestly. Now I didn't expect to show this to other people.
I mean, I am kind of a baby
Yeah.
when it comes to horror.
I don't really want to insult you though. So okay, here are the options that we have. I'm taking DayZ off the table
Yeah.
because DayZ feels like something we should be experiencing together. And I don't think you own it,
Yeah.
so like that would
All
have
right.
to be something that you need to buy. Voice of the Killer, Anthology of the Killer.
Well,
Specifically, they're games that I've personally played.
yeah.
That I can say, hey, this was a really good experience.
So we previously, went through all of these, and I think the one I most want to give a try is actually Interference Dead Air.
Hell yeah.
Like, since it doesn't have any, like, you are not directly confronting the horror.
Yep.
I think I might have an easier time
Yeah.
with it.
You never directly confront the horror, but boy, do you have to deal with it. Basically, the way that Interference Dead Air works, for those who've never played it before, you are the gate guard at the SCP Foundation. A containment breach happens. It's not called the SCP Foundation, but it's similar vibes. And you've got to help. You've got to figure out what to do in that situation.
Hmm.
All right. There is never another living soul that you see in the game, except maybe a cactus or two.
Any Dead Souls?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
Like you never see another like character model, as far as I've played through.
Okay. All right. Well, I will look forward to that on Monday.
So
Thank you so much for, uh, like, I gotta ask, did you enjoy the writing in Of the Devil?
I did enjoy the writing. Like I was kind of irritated when I was like, oh, okay, so this is the person we're rooting for, is it?
Not necessarily, like, hmm.
Because like this is I felt the same way when I was playing when I was watching Death Note was just like
Mhm.
I don't like I don't like this person. I kind of want them to get caught.
Yeah.
Like because
There's def.
like
Mhm.
okay, cool. They decided to kill a bunch of like people in prison who were already serving their sentence.
Hmm. Yeah. Like, hmm. I have thoughts about Morgan. Uh, like, I, I, I'll just go as far and say I really enjoy the story, and I like Morgan is like just a mental chew toy for me. I'm just like,
Like I looked for a reason. Like I was looking for a reason that she would kill that person, and then she was just like, "Ah, I did it because I wanted to."
yeah, that's basically
I was just like, and then you spoke to their
grieving family member like nothing had happened. And the only reason you got him off was because otherwise it wouldn't have been the perfect murder.
I mean, Morgan is not necessarily completely accurate about her own motivations. She is definitionally an unreliable narrator. Like,
But like she
there are
killed that
things
person because they reminded her of Emily.
there is certainly an implication there. Like when Emma brings up, it's like, hell, they kind of look like me, and they're like, those cut-ins are actually one of my favorite parts of just like this suddenly very intense, like something is going on in the depths of Morgan's mind
Uh-huh.
that even she does not acknowledge.
Uh-huh. Alright. Alright. Alright.
So yeah, like the next episode is even better.
Hmm.
Like,
Join us on Monday when we'll be playing Interference Dead Air.
yep,
And join us on the Discord if you want to see some shit posts. We're both very active in there. That's fun. And also we have a comic. You should read that.
yes, read Arcana Watch.
We are getting perilously close to like 200 comics.
God, are we?
We are within
Well,
sniffing distance of it, yeah.
well, yeah, we are yeah, we are 5/6 of the way there.
Yeah. And
All
so
right.
it'll take up an afternoon, and you can read it on your phones with no ads or anything because we optimized it so that you wouldn't have to do anything but read the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I hate ads on pages where ads don't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need to monetize every square inch of page. All right, we love you all very much.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Catch you later.